Hello and welcome back to Climbing Psychology. Today we'll be talking about falling in bouldering. If we were to compare how dangerous bouldering is compared to top rope or lead climbing, bouldering definitely takes the first spot. Since bouldering is so dangerous, the first step is risk management. You often see videos on how to fall in boulders that are often unrealistic. Today I will be teaching similar basics, but then we will apply in uncontrolled situations. And in particular, we will have David, who's a pro faller, and he will teach you how to commit to dangerous move in a safe way. The risk management will also help you with the fear of falling in bouldering as well. As in bouldering, it's all about knowing where your physical limits and capabilities are. Let's jump right into it. This video will be divided in 3 parts. The first one is how to fall safely. The second one is how to approach something that scares you. And the third one is how to safely commit to dangerous moves. Okay, I will start with the basic concepts on how to fall safely. These techniques are not enough to keep you safe, but if you practice them, then you'll be able to apply them to more dangerous situations, which David will show you. So, if you see, what you do is you tuck your hands close to your chest. This is a T-Rex, you're making your arms short. Then you're tucking your neck in so that your head is not hitting on the ground, and you roll on your back so that you're dissipating the force on more surface on your body, and it will not take your ankles. Important things, you don't want to fall either squatting and with your hands on the ground. You might have too much momentum and lean forward, and this can break your wrist. The same way, you never want to fall with your arms backwards. It has been shown scientifically that is the best way to break your arms. And the same goes when you're falling sideways. You never want to break your fall using the arm. This is one of the injuries that I saw last year. A girl broke her arm because she tried to stop the fall with the wrist, with the hand. Same thing applies when you're doing a high heel hook and you're falling sideways. You do exactly the same. You do T-Rex, you tuck your neck, and you roll. Many people are scared of falling on the slab. It's exactly the same, but what you're doing is adding a push with your hands. So if your foot slips, you push yourself outside of the wall so that you don't hit any hold underneath. And then you do the same. T-Rex, turtle, roll. The only exception is dinos. In this case, you can fall with your face straight on the ground. So instead, what you want to do is try to stop your face hitting with your arms with a plank. But David will give you more details on how to control these situations when you're doing dinos and other dynamic and more dangerous kind of moves. One last thing. When you're rolling, pay attention not to have your knees completely together, because then it is possible that you might hit your teeth with the knees. You want to fall in a squat position and then roll backwards. For this second part of the video, I'm going to show you how to approach something that scares you. For some people, even just being on the top part of the wall is something scary. And of course, if you can, you should down climb. We have down climbing jugs for that, but sometimes you just can't. And you need to be comfortable with falling from those heights, even though you want to minimize them as much as possible. So what we do is start by taking controlled falls. And in this way, we're also rehearsing the techniques that I've showed you before. And you start by going on the wall. You go to a height you feel 100% comfortable with, and you take the fall. Then, again, we go slightly higher. If the next hold is too high, find something in between. It's still fine. If this is too much, go lower. Remember, falling from that height, it's something you want to avoid. But it's important that you get comfortable with different heights. Try to at least get out of your comfort zone a bit. Sometimes in bouldering you will find uncommon or scary kind of moves. And for those moves, it's not just something that you should practice falling on. As I said, bouldering entails some degree of risk and you want to minimize it as much as possible. So what you do instead is try to know your physical limit as best as you can. So the best would be to have as much experience as possible with those kind of moves in various degrees of difficulties, hopefully starting from the most easy. But sometimes you don't have that luxury. So what you can do instead is find an alternative version, probably with a better hold that you can hold, so that you can get into the position and see whether you can hold it or not. If doing this move is too scary, one thing you could do instead is to find a better hold and see how it feels. Can you hold it? Can you engage? Can you match? And after this is fine, find something else that is good and get in the end position. Can you hold it? Try for just some seconds and then. So remember, if the move is scary, what you do is skip the moves, get to the position if you can, and see if you can hold it. If that is still scary, find easier moves, easier holds, so that you can practice the move with a slightly easier version. Finally, try to make small commitments that are as controlled as possible, and then try to reach the hold. Also remember that when you're trying to do these attempts, you want to get the height and the engagement in the arm when you're holding the hold. So you don't want to reach with a straight arm. You want to reach it with the elbow slightly engaged. That will give you more control when you're reaching for the hold. But David will give you more concrete and detailed examples on what to do when these moves are very scary and you cannot really try them in a controlled way.
So one of the most dangerous moves in climbing that I know of, especially in bouldering, is sideways dynos. And the first thing to look out for is the landing zone, of course. So as an example, let's say you're jumping here, then you can check where would you land. If you start from here, you jump here, you will of course continue in the same trajectory. And then you might land here, that's not a good thing. So in this case, you would need a spotter at least. So let's use this as an example. If you do a sideways dyno, if you come from here, and you're supposed to go over here, you're just supposed to catch it. So the important thing to keep it safe is to get a firm grip of the hold. So not like this, because then you might slide off, but like really a firm grip, and make sure you feel that you have a firm grip. And then the arm, you shouldn't catch it with a bent, you shouldn't catch it with a straight arm like this, because then you can't control your swing at all. You should catch it with a slightly bent arm, have your shoulders engaged and the elbow bent. When I caught it, you could tell my lower body was swinging, my upper body was in total control, and that's thanks to my bent arms and my engaged shoulders. So when I caught it with straight arms, my entire body was swinging. So that's the thing. I wasn't in control of any part of the swing. But when I caught it with bent arms, then I could control the upper body and let the lower body swing instead, which is much safer and much more controlled. Since you want to catch it with a firm grip and a bent arm, you need to make a quick decision while you're doing this jump if you want to keep holding on to the hold or not. So if you're on your way here and you feel like you haven't got a good hold, then you don't want to keep holding it until you're at the top of your swing and then slide off, because then you'll get a potentially dangerous fall. If you let go right away, you'll be usually a lot safer. So this boulder it starts with a bat hang. So you're supposed to get your 2 feet up here, and then you match the start hold down on the floor. And when you're letting go of the hands and only hang in your feet, you need to make sure you don't have a swing. So make sure your body is at an equilibrium before you let go of the hands. And be prepared to bend at the waist if you fall. So you want to do this basically, because then you'll land on your shoulders and you can roll instead of landing on your neck and potentially hurting yourself. So this, you have to find the equilibrium, and it's at around here, and then you can let go and match. And if you fall, you bend. Yeah, that's it.
And this was it for today. Of course, this is not an exhaustive guide, and it takes time for you to know your limits and internalize all of this information. I'll do more videos in the future on concrete exercises that will help you for committing for flashes as well. In the meantime, stay psyched. Bam!